It's a cold January morning in 2022, just before dawn. The 110 freeway in South Los Angeles hums with early traffic, headlights cutting through the fog. A California Highway Patrol officer pulls over near the Manchester Avenue on-ramp, expecting maybe a stranded car or debris. Instead, they find something that stops them cold. A young girl's body, discarded like trash on the side of the road. She's been shot, her life stolen in a moment of unimaginable violence. Her name was Tioni Theus, and she was only 16 years old. Welcome to Dark Truth Files, where we unravel the haunting stories that linger in the shadows. Today, we're diving into a case that's been haunting me since I first heard about it. Tioni Theus wasn't just a name in a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a straight-A student with dreams bigger than the Compton streets she grew up on. But her story, her murder, remains unsolved, and the questions around it will keep you up at night. Who did this to her? Why has justice been so elusive? And what does her case tell us about the world we live in? So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's piece this mystery together. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments, and tell me, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about a case like this? Is it the tragedy, the injustice, or the hope that we can still find answers? Let's talk about it as we unravel the heartbreaking story of Tioni Theus. Let's start with Tioni, because before she became a case number, before her name was tied to a freeway and a police report, she was a vibrant 16-year-old with a life full of promise. Tioni Theus was born in Compton, California, a city known for its resilience but also its challenges, poverty, violence, and systemic inequities that can make growing up feel like a battle. But Tioni? She was a fighter, a dreamer, someone who lit up any room she walked into. Her family describes her as a ball of energy. She loved to dance, moving with a grace that made you stop and watch. She was good at it, too. Her cousin Afiza Kinsey said Tioni could have gone pro if she'd had the chance. She also had a quirky side. She was obsessed with golf, of all things. Picture this. A teenage girl from Compton, swinging a golf club with the same confidence she brought to the dance floor. That was Tioni. She was a straight-A student at Centennial High School, the kind of kid who'd stay up late studying, determined to make something of herself. Her father, Darian Jackson, said she wanted to go to college, maybe study business or law. She had plans, big ones, but life wasn't easy for Tioni. Her family was close, but they'd been through hell. In 2019, her mother, Takina, was hit in a devastating hit-and-run accident that left her in a coma for months. Imagine being 13 and watching your mom fight for her life, knowing she might never be the same. Takina survived, but she needed long-term care in a rehabilitation facility, leaving Tioni and her siblings in the care of their father.
Was hit by the car on the freeway, and then that's when they let us know that she was shot. So that was devastating to find out that Tioni was shot. Like, oh my God.
I really miss her the most. She used to be like funny and fun at the same time.
Her dad owns a shop down in Inglewood. She was last seen with her dad. She was picked up by a young lady that still haven't came forward, that picked her up that Friday night, saying that they were going to a party. What type of situation was she in that someone would even shoot her?
She explains that Tioni's mother is recuperating at an assisted living facility from a serious hit and run. Tioni, who had been involved in golf and doing well in Centennial High School, didn't take it well.
Once that happened, it was unbearable. She didn't know how to take it. She was a straight-A student before this happened to her with her mom, and that's why I'm standing here today, because Teresa's not able.
Darian did his best, working long hours to provide for his kids, but Tioni felt the void of her mom's absence deeply. Nafiza said Tioni would visit her mom whenever she could, sitting by her bedside, talking about school, her dreams, anything to keep that connection alive. That trauma, though It changed Tioni. She was still the bright, ambitious girl everyone loved, but she started to rebel. She'd sneak out, disappear for hours, sometimes overnight. Her dad would call her phone, text her, beg her to come home. But Tioni was searching for something, maybe freedom, maybe belonging, and that search, that vulnerability, might have led her straight into the hands of someone dangerous. This part of her story hits me hard. Tioni was just a kid, navigating a world that's tough enough without losing your mom to tragedy like that. I can't help but think about how many teenagers out there like her, full of potential but wrestling with pain that pushes them into risky situations. What do you think? Have you ever known someone who was trying to find their way like Tioni was? Drop it in the comments. Let's share her story and keep her memory alive. Tioni's life wasn't perfect, but it was hers. She was loved. She was talented. And she deserved so much more than what happened next. Let's talk about that fateful day in January 2022 when everything changed. It's Friday, January 7th, 2022 in Compton. The winter air is chilly and the sun sets early, casting long shadows over the city streets. Tioni Theus is at home with her dad, Darian, in their modest apartment. It's a typical evening. Maybe they're eating dinner, talking about school, or watching TV. But Tioni's got plans. Around 7 p.m., she tells her dad she's going to meet a friend for a party. Darian's used to her wanting to hang out, but something about this feels off. He asks her to stay safe, to check in. She promises she will, grabs her things, and heads out the door, her phone in hand, her smile as bright as ever. That's the last time Darian sees his daughter alive. Let's walk through this night, minute by minute, as best we can. The timeline is patchy. Investigators have had to piece it together from family statements, phone records, and what little evidence they've got. Tioni leaves home around 7:30 p.m. She's dressed for a night out, maybe in jeans and a jacket. Her hair done the way she liked. We don't know exactly where she went or who she was meeting. Her dad said she mentioned a friend, but no one's sure who that was. Was it someone from school? Someone she met online? Or someone who'd been grooming her for months? That's one of those questions that keeps me up at night. What do you think she was walking into? By midnight, Darian's getting worried. Tioni's not answering her phone. He calls, texts, waits. Nothing. This isn't the first time she stayed out late. But it's different this time. He can feel it. He keeps trying her phone, hoping she's just caught up with friends, maybe at a party like she said. But the hours tick by and there's no word. Now, let's shift to the early morning of January 8th, around 5 a.m. We're on the 110 Freeway, a busy stretch of road that cuts through South Los Angeles. It's dark, the kind of dark where the city feels like it's holding its breath. A California Highway Patrol officer is on routine patrol near the Manchester Avenue on-ramp when they spot something unusual on the shoulder. At first, it looks like a bundle of clothes, maybe something dumped from a car. But as they get closer, their heart sinks. It's a body, a young girl, lying face down in the dirt, her clothes stained with blood, 2 bullet wounds in her neck. No ID, no phone, no signs of a struggle right there. Just Tioni, left like she didn't matter. This moment, this discovery, it's where the case begins, but it's also where the questions pile up. Who was Tioni with that night? Where was she killed? And why the 110 Freeway? Was it random, or did it mean something to the killer? I keep thinking about how brazen this was. Dumping a body on a major freeway like that. It feels like a message, but to who? What's your take on this? Drop it in the comments. Let's figure this out together. The CHP takes lead on the case, with the Los Angeles Police Department assisting. They ID Tioni through fingerprints and notify her family. Darian's world collapses. He'd spent the night praying she'd walk through the door, and now he's hearing the worst news a parent can get. Nafisa, Tioni's cousin, later said the family was in shock, but not surprised Tioni had been out late. They knew she'd been struggling, but this was unimaginable day as the investigation kicks off. One thing becomes clear. Tioni's death wasn't random. There's a darker story here. One that points to a world most of us don't want to think about. Let's dive into the suspects and what might have driven someone to do this. All right, this is where things get murky. Who killed Tioni Theus? Why? The investigation has been frustratingly quiet on suspects, but there are threads to pull, and they lead to some unsettling places. Let's break it down, looking at the possibilities, the motives, and the gaps that make this case so maddening. I'll share what I think, and I want to hear your theories too. What's your gut telling you? First, let's talk about the human trafficking angle. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gaskin dropped a bombshell early in the case. Court records suggest that Tioni may have been a victim of commercial sexual exploitation of children, or CSCC. That's a fancy term for something horrific. Teenagers, often vulnerable ones, being coerced or forced into sex work. Tioni's cousin Afiza said the family suspected Tioni had connected with an older man on Instagram, someone who seemed charming, maybe promised her money or attention. Was this man real? Was he a predator grooming her? Investigators haven't named him, but this lead points to a chilling possibility. Tioni may have been caught in a trafficking network. If that's true, the suspect pool could include a pimp, a trafficker, or someone higher up in a criminal operation. These people don't mess around. Violence is how they control their victims. Maybe Tioni wanted out, or she saw something she shouldn't have. Killing her and dumping her body could have been a warning to others. But here's what bugs me. If this was a trafficking hit, why leave her on Freeway? It's bold, almost reckless, and traffickers usually try to stay under the radar. What do you think? Does this feel like a professional job or something more personal? Another angle is someone close to Tioni's life. A friend she was meeting that night. Her dad said she mentioned a party, but no one's come forward saying they saw her there. Was this friend real, or was it a cover story? Could have been someone from school, someone she trusted, who betrayed her. Investigators have looked into her social circle, but no names have been released. I keep wondering about her phone. Where is it? If they could track her last calls or texts, we might know who she was with. The fact that it's missing feels like a deliberate move by the killer. What's your theory on who this friend might have been? Then there's a possibility of a random act, a robbery gone wrong, a chance encounter with someone violent. But this doesn't sit right with me. 2 shots to the neck, a body dumped on a freeway. It's too precise, too cold. Random killers don't usually go to that much trouble to hide their crime scene. Plus, Tioni's background, her recent behavior, it all points to someone who knew her, at least enough to lure her somewhere. Motive is the big question. If it was trafficking, the motive could be control or punishment. If it was someone she knew, maybe it was jealousy, revenge, or a secret she uncovered. The lack of evidence at the dump site makes it hard to pin down. No DNA, no witnesses, no security footage that we know of. The CHP has been tight-lipped, and that silence drives me crazy. It's like they hit a wall early on. What do you think the motive was? Who had the most to gain from Tioni's death? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's see if we can piece this together. Point one thing's clear. The investigation has been slow, and that's where the next part of this story takes us. There's a twist that changed how I see this case, and it's going to hit you hard too. Just when you think you're starting to wrap your head around Tioni's case, here comes a twist that floored me. The investigation has barely moved in 3 years. No arrests, no named suspects, no major breakthroughs. And what's worse, the way Tioni's case has been treated, by the police, the media, and even the public, raises questions that are almost as disturbing as the crime itself. Let's unpack this, because it's a gut punch. Early on, the CHP and LAPD seemed to take Tioni's case seriously. They canvassed the area, interviewed her family, and chased leads about her phone and social media. But as weeks turned into months, the trail went cold. By mid-2022, updates stopped coming. Darien and Afiza have said publicly that they feel ignored by investigators, like Tioni's case was put on a shelf. And here's the kicker. They're not wrong. In South Los Angeles, nearly half of all homicides go unsolved. Compare that to wealthier parts of LA, where clearance rates are higher. It's a statistic that makes my blood boil. Why does where you live decide how much your life matters? Then there's the media. Tioni's case got some coverage, but it was nothing compared to another LA murder that happened just days later. Brianna Kupfer, a 24-year-old white woman, was killed in a furniture store in Hancock Park on January 13th, 2022. Her case got wall-to-wall coverage. TV segments, front-page stories, a $250,000 reward. A suspect was arrested within weeks. Tioni? Her reward started at $10,000 from LA County, later bumped to $120,000 with state and city contributions. That's still half of Brianna's, and it took community activists like Najee Ali calling out the disparity to get it raised. I'm not saying Brianna's case didn't deserve attention. Every victim does. But why the gap? Tioni was a black teenager from Compton. Is that why her story didn't trend? What do you think about this? Does it feel like some cases get more justice than others? Drop it in the comments. I need to hear your take. Online discussions, think forums, social media buzz, have kept Tioni's name alive, but they've also stirred up theories. Some posts suggest she was targeted because she was trying to escape a trafficking ring. Others point to gang activity, though there's no evidence Tioni was involved with gangs. These discussions are a double-edged sword. They raise awareness but also spread rumors that muddy the waters. I saw one post claiming Tioni was killed over a drug debt, which her family vehemently denies. It's frustrating because speculation like that can drown out the truth. Have you seen any wild theories about this case online? What's your reaction to how the internet handles cases like this? The investigation stagnation isn't just about resources. It's about priorities. Tioni's family believes human trafficking is the key, but the CHP hasn't confirmed they're pursuing that angle. They've asked for dash cam footage from the 110 freeway, but nothing's turned up. The missing phone is a huge loose end. Where is it? Did the killer take it to cover their tracks? This twist, this silence, it's what makes Tioni's case feel like a wound that won't heal. It's been 3 years and we're still asking, what happened to her? What's your theory on why this case is stuck? Let's keep this conversation going. So, where does Tioni's case stand today, August 18, 2025? The hard truth is, it's still unsolved. The CHP remains a lead agency, with a tip line open at 323-644-9557. That $120,000 reward is still out there, waiting for someone to come forward with a piece of evidence that cracks this wide open. But as of now, no arrests, no suspects, no closure for Tioni's family. Darian Jackson still visits the spot on the 110 freeway where his daughter was found, leaving flowers, praying for answers. Nafisa keeps pushing, speaking at rallies, demanding justice. They're not giving up, and neither should we. What does justice look like for Tioni? For her family? It's an arrest, a trial, a name to the person who took her away. But it's also bigger than that. It's about shining a light on human trafficking, on the kids like Tioni who fall through the cracks because they're vulnerable, because the system doesn't always protect them. It's about fixing a world where a black teenager's murder doesn't get the same urgency as others. I keep thinking about what Nafisa said. Tioni was a child, a victim. She deserved better. That hits me right in the chest. What does justice mean to you in a case like this? Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Tioni's story isn't just a case. It's a call to action. If you're in LA, if you were on the 110 freeway that night, if you have dash cam footage or heard something, call that tip line. If you know someone caught in trafficking, there are resources, hotlines like the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888. Tioni's life mattered, and her story deserves to be told until someone answers for what happened. Let's take a moment for Tioni. She was a dancer, a dreamer, a girl who loved golf and made her dad laugh. She was 16, with a future stolen from her. I want to believe we can still find the truth, that we can give her family some peace. What do you think really happened to Tioni? What should the next step be? Share your thoughts below, and let's keep her name alive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Tioni Theus' story. It's heavy, I know, but it's important. These cases, these lives, they matter, and we're not just here to tell stories. We're here to demand answers. If this video moved you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Dark Truth Files for more stories that need to be told. Where are you watching from? Drop your location and your thoughts on Tioni's case in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to hear what you think. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and let's keep fighting for justice. For Tioni.